Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz found his way into the hearing room for Michael Cohen's explosive public testimony yesterday, which was a little odd because Gaetz is not on the Oversight Committee. And then he told reporters he was there to ask questions. A remarkably bold move, given that he's not on the committee, and also given that Gaetz appeared to explicitly threaten Cohen shortly before his testimony in what many took to be a blatant attempt at witness tampering. Gaetz did ultimately apologize for his threat amid an investigation by the Florida State Bar Association for potentially violating professional conduct rules. But the apology may not have been very sincere. Today, Edward Isaac DeVere reported that President Trump called the congressman last night from Hanoi to talk about the Cohen testimony and the threats, since rescinded, Gaetz made about Cohen. "I was happy to do it for you. You just keep killing it," Gaetz was heard telling him. Now, Gaetz is a particularly special flower, but nearly every Republican in the House is, to some degree, a version of Matt Gaetz, devoted not to Republican policies or a conservative ideology, but to Donald Trump above all else. Joining me now, Joy Reid, host of MSNBC's AM Joy, and MSNBC political analyst Jason Johnson, politics editor at The Root. Gaetz is at the avant-garde. I mean, right? He's like that's like everyone is trending in the direction of Matt Gaetz.
Well, what's interesting
in the House?
Absolutely, Matt Gaetz is basically Michael Cohen without the salary, or with the taxpayer paying his salary.
Right.
And so the irony is that they didn't get the irony. When Michael Cohen says, "I've been doing what y'all have been doing, I did it for 10 years, they're literally still doing it. Matt Gaetz is the new Michael Cohen.
I actually find the psychology of that bizarre, because to me, the president seems like such a, in some ways, like absurd and ridiculous figure. He seems like a deeply, not the psychology, but kind of a broken person in certain ways, like in a deep way. And this certain kinds of person, the Matthew Calamaris of the world, the Michael Cohens of the world, the Matt Gaetzes of the world, who are like, that, I will do anything for you.
Look, it's Devin Nunes. There's tons of them.
Yeah.
Right? They're all
there's tons of them.
Yeah, they're all willing to be that guy. They're the guy who would steal candy from the store they worked at to give to the popular kids in high school because they think maybe then I'll be invited to the party. What Michael Cohen was saying the whole time is the party's not that good, and you end up in jail at the end of it. But Gaetz doesn't care, and he's denied that he made that statement to the president. But if you didn't say it then, you'll say it at some other point because that's what you're about.
But this is a different theory, I think, than a theory I often hear, which is very popular, which is they're afraid of their base and they have to do this, and so they're doing it. I think there are those Republicans, but I thought what you saw, mostly what you saw in the hearing yesterday from your Paul Gosars and your Congressman Higgins and your, from Mark Meadows, this is them. This is their belief system. They are genuinely loyal to the president because they genuinely admire him.
And the thing is that Matt Gaetz is not at risk for his base. That is a deep red district that he's running in. I've been talking with Florida, sort of folks in the Florida political world, particularly on the Republican side, since this stuff happened. And it's very clear. Matt Gaetz he's a true believer. He's drunk all the Kool-Aid, gulped it down. But the reality is these people who are, let's be clear, some of them Trump supporters have said, what Matt Gaetz doesn't understand that Michael Cohen understands, if he were to lose re-election, he would be a loser to Donald Trump. Donald Trump would cut him off. He will not be hired by Donald Trump. Donald Trump will consider him a nobody.
And the wildest thing about this is that the memory hole that we will ultimately enter into, because right now CPAC is happening. I saw Dave Weigel and a few other people being like, George W. Bush does not exist at CPAC. No. It does not exist. The guy never existed. People were like, oh, finally, a Republican president who is against abortion. It's like 8 years. And why? Because he ended in essentially disgrace and ruin. He was extremely unpopular. He was a bad president. The historical record, I think, shows that pretty clearly. And George W. Bush is gone. But there was a time when there were people running around ready to carve the guy's face into Mount Rushmore.
And you're going to see the same thing with Trump. And let's say he loses in 2020. I mean, look, they'll just find the new person that they want to worship, but they'll say that he was the greatest person. He was taken out by the liberals and all the other terrible people out there. But I think the other thing to remember is this. It's the fact that the president, even though he's not loyal to you, and even though he won't protect you, the sort of patina of shamelessness that he has presented has helped other people. Jim Jordan, given his own scandals, given some of the scandals of some of the people on the committee, but they are able to say this because I'm under the penumbra of President Trump, and that's what these guys are doing.
Jim Jordan was a wrestling coach at Ohio State University where there was a doctor who repeatedly, routinely, and apparently systematically molested, groped, and sexually assaulted the wrestlers there. Multiple wrestlers have come forward on the record to say there is no way that Jordan did not know about this. It's something we talk about all the time. Jordan, of course, is has denied that. But yes, for him to be up there launching the character
he can
assassin.
see conspiracies everywhere,
Yeah.
but apparently couldn't see them when he was a coach.
But the reality is that Donald Trump has empowered a certain kind of DGAF manhood, a kind of right-wing I can do it memeness. Like this is what people want to indulge in. He gives you the ultimate permission to indulge. It's like being in a gang. Right. I hate to use another mafia sort of. I know a lot of people are connecting it to sort of the mob, but it's the same kind of thing. You know this is dangerous. You know this can actually get you killed. Yeah. But there's something intoxicating about being in the mob.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? And I think that the reason I think that has more explanatory power, particularly on what's going on the House side, is like that's all it is really on the House side.
Oh yeah.
I mean, more and more there are
gerrymandered.
People, right? I mean, there's some people, right? The ones that were sort of
not endangered,
and the people that are conflicted. You know, there's people I think in the Senate who are conflicted. I think there's a lot of people. I think there are still people in the House who, behind closed doors and off the record, will say things. But I think a thing that people don't reckon with is that they genuinely like Donald Trump. They love him. Yep. They admire him. They think he's great. They want to defend him. That's like no one's extorting.
It's Roger Stone with Nixon now, but I promise you, there will be Trump tattoos on the backs of these guys by 2020. Of Trump, of Melania, of anybody in his administration. And you see it. Look, Lindsey Graham is the perfect example of this. Yeah. It is intoxicating, and they don't care that they're hated by other people. Now I'm part of the team. Now I'm one of the cool guys.
Yeah, we should say Justin Amash stood out yesterday for not being like that, who asked some really good, just straightforward questions.
And you know how many Justin Amashes are? One.
There's one. Right. Justin Amash. Joy Reid and Jason Johnson, thanks for being with me tonight.
Thank you.